What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are jumping into Night Terror's Robin issue number 1, with a story written by Kenny Porter. What we have seen so far from the Night Terror's lines is all of our heroes, all of our villains, they are living out their worst nightmares. All of this because of the new villain known as Insomnia. He has put the world to sleep while he is searching for the Nightmare Stone to take the Nightmare Realm into the waking world. To find this stone, he must search the dreams and nightmares of all heroes and villains alike. And while he does this, all of the heroes and villains, they are experiencing their worst nightmares. And in this issue, it is going to be Tim Drake and Jason Todd, two of our Robins, going into their dreamscape, going into the Nightmare Realm. And we are gonna see exactly what it is that is their biggest fear, what haunts them in their dreams, what comes for them when they close their eyes. So make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we jump into Night Terror's Robin, we are picking up at Gotham City Shopping Mall. We have our Robin, Tim Drake. He is jumping right into the fray, with bullets zipping past him. He starts to take down the goons one by one, with him being in communication with Oracle. Oracle is saying that you haven't checked in a couple days, that you should probably give yourself a break, to take a freaking day off. But Tim Drake goes on to say that he's perfectly fine, that Batman didn't take a night off and neither will he, to go ahead and check on somebody that might actually need you. And so she checks in with Jason Todd. Oracle going in talking about the heroin shipment that he has been tracking, trying to give him any support, any knowledge that might be useful. As Jason Todd loads up his rubber bullets, he hangs up without saying a single word to her. And as he heads out, we see that purple smoke coming in, the one from Insomnia. It begins to take over the entire city. Nobody is safe. With both of our Robins being hit by Insomnia, we see the two of them both fall into what seems to be the same dream, the same nightmare. As they take a look around, they see that something is very off. It takes a few moments, but Tim Drake quickly recognizes that they are in some kind of dream realm. Not really sure how to test if this is a dream or not. Jason Todd smacks the crap out of Tim Drake, saying that he did this the last time that he had a dream with Tim in it. Except on that occasion, Tim had turned into a bunch of cartoon birds, but with Tim spitting out a bunch of his teeth. This helps him understand that this is a nightmare. Having all your teeth fall out is a very common nightmare. And he has also come to the understanding that there is a possibility that they could die in here. That if they die in this dream, they die in real life. As the scenery around them begins to change, they find themselves in a graveyard, a hand grabbing hold of each of them and taking down their own paths, with Tim letting Jason know to simply stay alive and I'll find you. This is what picks us up with Tim Drake in an apartment, his father's apartment, back in the days of Identity Crisis issue number 5. This is the day that his father tried to fight Captain Boomerang. Tim Drake running down the hall trying to save his father. We pick up with Jason Todd, and as Jason Todd walks around, a shadowy figure from behind him, taking a crowbar and hitting him in the back of the head. Jason Todd is facing against the original Red Hood. And so as he fights off this, Tim Drake making his way to his father, but he is already too late. His father telling him that he should have tried harder, that he is supposed to save people. This is where we see a monstrous figure, almost like an evil Captain Boomerang. He begins to taunt Tim Drake, letting him know that he couldn't save anybody, that he couldn't save his father, and now he won't be able to save himself. Restarting this little situation, ending up back in his father's apartment. He can hear his father screaming for help. And so Tim Drake, he plays the game. He goes to try and save his father again. while Jason Todd, he is just getting one heck of a beatdown from Red Hood. But with Red Hood pulling out his pistol, he shoots the original Red Hood with a rubber bullet, trying to find some kind of escape. As he goes to make his getaway, he sees his mom has been conjured up, having no idea what is going on. When he turns around, this is where he finds 3 of the original Red Hoods, multiplying in numbers, going from 3 to 5 to 8. He raises up his guns and he begins to fire away, doing everything he can to hold them off for as long as he can. While Tim Drake, on the other hand, he has tried 52 times, and not a single time has he been able to save his father. At this point, Tim Drake goes for the man that is doing all of this. But Tim gets kicked so hard it sends him flying back into the fridge. As he looks up, this is where he sees Stephanie, Batman, Nightwing, and the others. But they're not here to save him or help him. They say that they are here to stop this, thinking that he could have it all, that he could be the best Robin there ever was, telling him to stay back before he gets anybody else killed. As he goes chasing after them, what he finds is a room where all his loved ones have been murdered, a boomerang in each of their chests. Robin goes running into his room, jumping on his bed and curling up, screaming, terrified, petrified. All of it has been building up. He shouts to the heavens for it to shut up. And this is where he hears Jason. Calling out to Jason, Jason is in a whole situation of his own. While they're now able to communicate, neither of them know how to get to one another, and Jason is surrounded by an army of the original Red Hoods. He tells Tim that he better come up with an idea and he better do it quick, because this is the end of the line. Alright gang, so we pick up with Tim Drake, sitting on his childhood bed thinking to himself that this is not real, that it can't be real. Tears coming down his face. He doesn't know what to do or where to go. This is when he hears the voice of Jason Todd. He lets Jason know that he can hear him, asking if he is okay. Right now, he is in a predicament of his own, hopping over to his own personal nightmare, fighting off dozens and dozens and dozens of versions of the Red Hood, the original Red Hood. And in the classic Jason style, he says to him, of all the people in our little family, did you ever guess that the 2 of us would end up dying together? Because at this point, Jason is understanding that this is probably over for them, that they are done. And Tim thinking to himself that maybe he's right. Maybe this is all over. This is where Insomnia appears, because this is exactly what Insomnia wanted to hear. He wanted the heroes to feel desperate, to be at the very bottom of the barrel, bringing them both to their lowest, waiting for them to beg for death, and then eventually granting that death, but slowly. With Tim Drake thinking that that is it then. That's the story of Tim Drake, the Robin who wasn't good enough. As the confines of this whole place begin to break down, we see them floating in the void, with Tim floating on his bed and Jason floating on a little bit of rock. They have gotten to a place where they can now hear each other and see each other in a much better way. And Jason thinks to himself that he just wanted somebody, anybody that he might be able to count on. The Robin that's a failure is going to die alongside the Robin who thinks he is a failure. This is when Tim Drake lets him know that no one, and he means no one, thinks that he is a failure. Of course, Jason does think this, but Tim tells him that you don't know jack squat, that you didn't fail, Batman failed you. Your mother failed you. You did what you were all trained to do. You were trained to survive. But Jason sees it as him becoming a monster and killing people, being perpetually alone. But Tim reminds him that you are never alone. Just because you pushed us all away doesn't mean we gave up on you. That you might have a lot to atone for, but we all do. That you are more than your failures. And that Tim Drake is always there if you need him. And Jason says, okay, if we're gonna play this game, let's say that you're right about me. And if you are, that means that you are wrong about yourself. Because the truth is, you're just like Batman. You think you can save everybody, but you can't. And this is something that you should not put on yourself. You may not have chosen to be Batman, you may have demanded it, and thank God that you did, because you were one of the best to ever do it. You were chosen, but you chose yourself. You're not gonna be able to save everyone, but you'll want to. You'll never stop trying, and that is what counts. Now that they have both agreed that they're not gonna give up just yet, the two of them have to put their heads together and figure out how they're getting out of here. The first step to doing so is defeating themselves. This is where Tim Drake goes to face his nightmare. His father trying to drag him down, calling him a pretend hero, saying that there are others that do it so much better than you, like Dick, Barbara, Stephanie, all of them are better than you as Robin. But this time, our Robin is able to fight through it. He defeats his own father, while Jason Todd, he starts cracking the skulls of all the Red Hoods. But he comes to the understanding that the Nightmare wants him to do this. This is where he throws down his guns. He's taking a different approach. He sits down on the ground and he waits for backup to arrive, calling out to Tim Drake, letting him know that he needs his help. And though the Nightmares, they try to taunt him, they try to say to pick up your guns and come fight me, he refuses to move. And over and over again, we see that he is getting pummeled, crowbars across the face, just getting smashed to bits. And that is where we have the arrival of Tim Drake. Our two Robins now back together. They go in and lay the smackdown on these Nightmares. Together, united as one, this doesn't take them long to beat the living heck out of them. And in defeating their Nightmares, this is where everything shatters. It shatters and they wake up, finding themselves in a rather bad spot, but believing that this could have been a lot worse. Bruised and battered, mentally fried on the inside. But their night has only just begun, because there is still a big mess to clean up. Jason knows that somebody out there probably needs a beatdown. He probably won't be able to do it himself. Assuming that he was really in that dream, he's asking Tim Drake if he is ready to make good on the promise to always be there for Jason Todd. This is where we see Tim Drake on his motorcycle, letting him know that he always meant that, and he is on his way. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely a great issue, especially for the character growth of both these Robins. Both of them have been struggling as of late. Jason Todd really having trouble pinpointing his identity, figuring out who he is, what he represents, and what he wants to do in this life. And Tim Drake kinda on the same path, kinda trying to find his own footing away from the Bat family, away from Batman. But both these Robins have one thing in common more than anything: self-doubt. Always wondering if they are not good enough, if they're not living up to Batman's legacy, wondering if they are not living up to the Robin mantle, and if they let it, this self-doubt could swallow them up and spit them out. But they are more than understanding that together they are stronger. That is what makes the Bat family so great. They have each other's backs. No matter what, no matter the situation, they are there for one another. Whether one of them needs a good beatdown or one of them simply needs a hand to get up off the ground, the Bat family is there for them. They are there for each other. And one day, without Batman, the day that he passes on and is no longer around, they are gonna need these family connections more than ever. But more than anything, it also ensures that they don't go down the wrong path. Jason Todd was really toying with that line for a while, but their family always brings them back into the fold. No matter how far gone they are, no matter how lost they become, they are brothers and sisters, and Robins always stick together. So let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories, if you would like to get completely caught up on everything that is going on with Night Terrors. Be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you are unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.